Ahoy hoy.
Ahoy.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, dude. Everybody saw it here first. 151 episodes in. Boom! Nailed it.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
boys in early Pikmin's vinyl. Super Turbo. What's up? Brilliant Demon Jazz Wiz. What is going on? Stormico Station. Feral Foundry is in the waiting room. Um, what's up with you, man? How you doing?
I just doing all right over here with this fancy little Cupperware that I've been given.
Cheers, buddy.
You're
Cheers.
adorable, my friend. Oh my goodness, dude. That's the best way I can say that. You're adorable. Such dad energy. You know what I mean? That's such a cute, like fuck sakes, man. I bet you were just like that one showing up every fucking game, all the practices, fucking
Oh,
knew every teammate by name.
of course, you have to. That's what you have kids for, man, to get involved in stuff like that. But dude, it's a coffee mug. I mean, come on. What do we if there's one thing we have in common besides toys,
Oh my
it's
god.
coffee, right?
I think that's why it's so adorable, man. It's such a beautiful thing of you to do, my friend. Absolutely. Just a very beautiful gesture. Very.
No problem, dude. No problem. There was a coupon on Shutterfly. It was next to nothing, and it came out pretty damn good. Oh man, Lynn's the Rat Boy, Cool Cat, Ocular Caviar, Jason St. Paul, Recycle Galaxy. Bam.
Did we catch everybody? Did you get Trey Z's? Did you get Fuck Toys? Acid
Ray,
Nine?
I did not see Fucking
Your
Toys.
your
I need to
chat's
see one.
all
Oh
wonky or
God, I did,
something.
dude. Look at that, son of a bitch. Acid Nine, David Dunn. God, dude, I missed a whole bunch. Abaddon 40. Um,
Did you
Zimic.
see there too? Super Terrible Toys sitting over in fucking Mexico at the moment.
Oh, nice, nice.
Enjoy.
Okay, all right. I feel seen now. Good. Um. Anyways, dog, what's going on with you?
Dude, honestly, I think we're both excited for tonight.
Mm,
Not to jump right into it, because I know we're going to talk about life for a moment as well before we yank them on in here. But Feral Foundry, I was even telling them, I joked with you. I've interviewed them twice now, and I've
mm.
never released that. It'll be fucking nice to actually pull them in, have what they say be heard by the homies. Um, and it's good. It's 2 a.m. over there for them. So,
Oh
of
my.
course, like, yeah, so like they're staying up a little late, and you know, it's their birthday, and this is what they're doing. So it's like, hot damn, man, it's gonna
As
be
I
a
just
fun one.
found out about 4 minutes ago, you are correct. Dre says New Mexico, not Mexico. New Mexico, which is different than Mexico, as far as I'm aware. Uh,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the moment you go into New Mexico, it's regular sunlight, but when you go into Mexico, it gets like that sepia tone. The whole world around you just gets that sepia tone. So there is quite a difference. My apologies. Yeah.
okay. Head case, what up? Fletch, what up? Um, yeah, like you said, dude, definitely looking forward to tonight, dude. I think we've both been on the Feral Foundry train for, gosh, a long time now. And I think both exciting to both of us is just kind of how we've seen it just progress, to where it is now. It's nuts, dude.
Oh yeah.
Um,
If anything, pulling up the tabs for their page tonight, like it was almost like I made sure to have one at the very bottom of the page, one at the top of the page, one in the middle, because like you were saying, like the progression in the work, the style has stayed the same though.
mm,
Like that's what I find interesting. It doesn't matter, like even when they start kind of getting into that more kind of like post-apocalyptico kind of robot vibe, you still can tell it's in that Shoggoth world. It's almost like they've taken over electronics.
you know what's funny, man? I was at my girlfriend's yesterday, and we were looking. She was asking about the show, and I was showing her the accounts and showing her the contrasting styles, and she said the exact same thing, dude. Is that you can tell it's extremely different, yet the same. Yuck 'em up, what's up, man? Bootleg Toy Co, what's up? Yeah, Boston Bruins hat, got the new B hat going on. I couldn't name one person on the Boston Bruins. I don't even know how to play hockey. I saw the hat and I was like, that's sick. I'll take that.
it's quite like it's kind of perfect, but it's a bee hat, like you said.
Yeah, it's just that, man. Um, but anyways, dude, yeah, it's cool, man, and it's one of those accounts, and we have the accounts under 1,000. I mean, we can put them on there every week, and it's just like I that's one that I don't understand.
We
I,
can say that about quite a few of the accounts, but that is definitely that's I think that's even one of the things that kind of brought them onto the Toys Alive circuit is showing off the fact that this account somehow has 809. Wow, like, and we might as well just show it. An account with 809 where you've got this dude literally having like a Shoggoth driving a fucking motorcycle that lights up. Fuck, man. And the artwork for that, I believe, was actually they're chilling in the chat here. I saw them a moment ago. Jason St. Paul.
oh, nice. Hell yeah. Right on.
But anyways, we're gonna get into that afterwards. But yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant artist.
Um. Yeah.
Otherwise, what's new in the world of you?
Man, busier than a two-peckered billy goat. You know how I be. Um. Just busy, man. It seems like I can't get caught up on sleep. The mornings are getting earlier and earlier, but we're coming to the end of the week, thank God. You know.
Dude. Okay.
But once you lose out on sleep, man, it's hard. It's hard to get it back, dude.
I
My,
was
man,
straight telling myself, I was like, okay, homie, you know Feral Foundry is staying up late. It's like 2 in the morning for them. Do not complain about how fucking tired you are.
yeah,
Good
right. Like,
luck.
that's a great point, dude. And yeah, it's all
But
perspective, I guess, dude. It's yeah,
but it's wild, man. I don't. I'm right there with you, man.
yeah,
But if I'm being honest, I think a big part of it is I'm out of shape as fuck, homie. I don't know if it was the winter or what, but like these
yeah.
days I start doing some stretches. I try and touch my toes and like I prep for it. I'm like, all right, time to do that once a day stretch. Oh,
Yeah,
the tears start flowing.
it's tough, man. It's getting old ain't fucking easy. I know that much, dude. And that's pretty much what it is at this point, is just being sore from, luckily my job, I have, it just, I don't ever feel like I'm in shape, but at least my job keeps me moving. Like I have to walk, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's
Well,
what it is. But
and honestly, dude, though, like it lives rent free in my brain. Like there was a fucking Family Guy thing where, of course, Stewie's running a chiropractic clinic and he's like doing the guy's back and he's like, "Oh, I bet you sit a lot. That's the secret killer." And the guy's like, "Actually, no." And he's like, "Oh, standing a lot. That's the secret killer." And he's like, "No, pretty good balance." He's like, "Oh, balance. That's the secret killer." I'm thinking like, yeah, you can't win. You can't fucking win. It's just getting old, straight up. Like it doesn't matter if you stand a lot, walk a lot, sit a lot. Like unless like gotta put in that fucking work and like.
um,
Anyway.
I know, dude. It's, I don't know, man. Um, but now we're here. It's Toys Day. So now we're here chilling. Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of it, man.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Anybody in the chat, by the way, if you haven't had a chance to slide over to the Toys Alive page and enter that giveaway, while you're there, also make sure if you're not following the Feral Foundry, hop on over to their page, follow
Yeah.
the Feral Foundry as well. And then, of course, I always forget till the very end. Oh, look at that.
Hey, look at that. Oh, I forgot about the old scrolly dolly there at the bottom.
The old scrolly dolly. My fucking goodness,
That
man.
one. That's one. That's a hard one to remember, dude. Like when you're in the middle of the show, you know what I mean, and then it's one extra thing on there.
Well, it really shouldn't be that hard. I mean, that's what I'm supposed to be sitting here doing that stuff. That's when you're full screen saying hi to all the homies. If I wasn't sitting here being like, God, he's so pretty, and I was actually clicking the banner instead,
That's what
it
it
would
is.
it would get the flow going better. Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So besides Feral Foundry tonight, what else we got going on tonight, man? I know I got some pieces to show. That's for sure.
Fair. You've got some pieces to show. We've
Mhm.
got a couple tabs. Depending on some time, I obviously pulled this mug out of somewhere, so we'll
Yes.
see. We'll see how time is going. But maybe
Yes.
we'll save that for next week as well. We'll kind of have to see how that's going for sure. I don't know about you, man. I feel like it's one of those ones where if Feral Foundry is here for the 1 hour, cool. They end up sticking around for like 2 hours because we get talking so much about toys and creativity and their 4 years, 5 years being in this scene on top of probably twice that long at least in this field in some way.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll be bombarded.
So what you're saying is we're not going to stick to any type of schedule. That's weird. That's odd.
I felt bad. Of course, I'm checking the messages right before we hop in live, and Feral Foundry's like, "Hey, like I'm chilling in here. What's the plan?" And you're like, "Ah, shit, forgot to let him know. Like, we have no plans."
And you know what? Great point, Bliss Receptor. Keep him up until 4 a.m. We must keep in mind that he
Fuck.
is
Yeah.
probably half awake right now. So
That's when we get the best answers out of people, though. Let's be honest.
it is his birthday. So how you doing, man? What's going on in your life right now? Let's get that. Let's talk about that real quick.
What's going on in my life right now? What?
Yeah,
Oh
come
my
on.
goodness. Actually, you know what? And I know like we're supposed to be talking toys mostly and all that. I think I'm gonna enter that Robot Resurrection show. I think I will
Oh
end up doing
shit.
that. That's
Okay.
coming up on April 23rd, right? The Robot Resurrection. We do this every week. April 20, right? I always want to say the 21st, but I think it's the 23rd. Um, but otherwise, man, it was interesting. This past week, like it's funny, and you get this one when you talk to somebody who's maybe not really too familiar with cannabis, but as you're explaining like the scientific properties of certain things, and you're like, smell this, and they're like, ooh, and then you start talking about like the scientific properties of like where something would be like bunk ass basement shit, and then they're like, smell it, and they're like, oh, and you're like, yeah, like science and fucking gases and biology and anyways, yeah, I like 21st. Pikmin says, yes, thank you on the save there, man. Neckrath, what is going on? Also, you know what? I know it's nothing to do with my life, but circling back to the subject on Feral Foundry this week, I noticed that the giveaway entries, a lot of folks that I hadn't seen before, man. It was kind of neat to see a couple like first time entries into there. I like those.
Yeah, I think that's what's cool about having different guests all the time is that it does bring a different crowd, and hopefully people seem to want to stick around and check out more artists. But yeah, you're right, man. It's a good way for us to get introduced to new artists as well. Um, but yeah, that was a good one, man. I always like referring. I mean, even though it kind of seems like an easy out, right, to have somebody go to the page and just kind of scroll the page. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about, right? Getting on the artist page and seeing what they're about if you don't know them or haven't scrolled their page in a while, and not only to get familiar with them for the show, but also to see what's going on. I mean, there's so much stuff out there, I think, that we all just don't see. I mean, if you look at how many people you follow and then see how many accounts you scroll. I mean, if you follow 1,000 people, I mean, are you legitimately seeing 1,000 accounts post their shit? Absolutely not. You're seeing a fraction of that, which is unfortunate, but it's fun to take a look at artists like that and kind of see what's up. And he's a good one.
Definitely agree, man. Without further ado, do you want to slide them in here? Get them chatting about what they do.
Let's do it.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Boom.
Oh man, dude, I did not realize the eyes on that particular one light up.
Yeah, all of them did, and they all flicker as well. I wanted it to look really like deranged and messed up. Like the others, they're all like tips and stuff. This to look really fucked up. So I got special flicker bulbs, and yeah, all of them had flashing eyes. There were like 2 orange ones and 2 red ones, and yeah, so this is what you can win today if you entered the giveaway.
That is awesome, man. That is the one that came out in the C is for Creature Show.
Yeah.
First, man, happy birthday as I so hear it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was it's literally the only reason I could do this. I never have like 2 days on the trot of work when I haven't got something else on, but I decided to pick it just because I had it, and then it occurred to me a week later that might work out, and then you guys had an open slot, so here we are.
Nice. So is it April 4th there?
3rd. Well, so technically it's April 4th now, but April 3rd is my birthday. So technically it was my birthday yesterday, but yeah.
Gotcha. You're still up from your birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at you, man. My brother's birthday is today the 3rd as well. How about that?
All right. Yeah. It's not. I always look this up. There's not very many famous like birthdays today, but it's also Amanda Bynes' birthday, and a really unpopular British politician. So that's fun.
Cool. Oh man. Well, hey.
You're talking about that, and now I gotta know. Did you guys have like those weird like candy grams in high school where it would basically scan off your information and be like, based on your birthday, here are historic events that have happened. Here are a list of celebrities born. Here are no. All
No,
right.
I just Googled it one day. It's because a guy I used to work with, his birthday was on 420, so April 20th, and that was also Hitler's birthday. So I thought, oh, I'll look that up. So, and that is the only good reason to know Hitler's birthday.
That's correct.
You've kind of ruined one of the best holidays at the moment, just so you know. That's kind of like literally saying, like, you might as well have just said Hitler was born on Christmas.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He was born on 420. So.
Oh man, that's funny, dude. That was my daughter's original due date. She was born,
Really?
but that was her original due date. Yeah, she was not born on that day, but I remember hearing that, and it was funny because at the time, her aunt, my ex sister-in-law, her birthday is on 420, so it was going to be like this big 420 party, and like nobody else in the family really knows what's going on, and I'm just laughing my ass off, like, oh man, this gets set up to be fucking amazing right here. This is crazy, and it didn't happen. So, anyways. Oh man. So, dude, were you gonna say something there, Crumbs?
Probably the exact same thing as you. Feral Foundry, man, we know who you are, but for the audience at home, would you like to take a moment and introduce yourself? Tell them who you are, what you do.
No worries. Yeah, I'm Ben. So I make toys under the Feral Foundry. I've been doing it about 3 years now. And most of my stuff is trying to be like a sort of horror stuff, like Lovecraftian horror, but with like a 90s aesthetic. I was really inspired as a kid by mini boglins. I fucking love these things. I have about 60 of these things. And my whole toy career has been trying to make these. So, yeah. But I've spun off into other things as well. So I made like little bits of jewelry at one point. I've also got a line of robots, stuff like that. I make stuff. So I make stuff for a living for other people, and this is just a way to extend that skill set and the tools I have access to keep myself sane. So that's me. That's the Feral Foundry.
Feral, man, if I may, just really quickly, if you've got YouTube running at the same time right now, closing it might just allow your internet connection a little bit better, but on the comments side within StreamYard, you can still see what the homies on YouTube are saying if you'd want it.
So I'm on my, so because I'm in the workshop, I only have like the data on my phone. So otherwise I would, but it's like, but my stuff is here. I thought because it's not as good, but my stuff is here. And I don't want to wake up my wife and the neighbors. So
it's all perfect. I think it's only when we pull you full screen. The other thing is, I don't think I'd realized how large that freaking creature figure was till you're holding it. That's a full out action figure, man.
Yeah, that was the goal. I hadn't really made anything to this size before. So yeah, I wanted to go a little bit bigger. I wanted to get a bit better with the articulation and obviously the lights and stuff. Something I still want to look at a bit more. But just I've got distracted with another thing that I'll tell you about later. But yeah, no, it was really good. I really like the show because I was never going to do this otherwise, and I nearly didn't do it. And I spent about 2 days banging my head against the wall trying to get this sculpt to work, and then it just sort of came together, and then it just sort of rolled on from there, which was really cool. But yeah, I want to do bigger stuff. I've always wanted to do bigger stuff because this kind of feels like the 90s toys, like the Ninja Turtles and stuff like that I had, like the transforming ones. So yeah, that is definitely a goal, and I'm hoping later in the year to do another thing like this, but with a bit more. I kind of want to do a transforming one. I'm not there yet, but we'll see if we can. So yeah, I was quite happy with this. It's nice to have something chunky.
Also, probably one of the best uses I've seen of the ball magnets sitting like in the plate. Dude, hiding them under the freaking shoulder plates is freaking beauty.
It also means that I can send them out without stuff breaking as easy because just, 2 magnets in there, they pop in really nicely. 2 magnets does it in our steel ball bearing. So yeah, I had to set the legs because otherwise it just wobbled everywhere. But yeah, and also a little magnet in the waist that you can't really tell, and there's your battery pack. So yeah,
Dude,
super
hey,
happy.
can you take the arm off again and show the socket on the inside right there? God damn, dude. So you got two magnets in there, is that right? Holding that ball in. Look at
Yeah.
you. Holy shit.
The engineering on that is absolutely brilliant, man.
Bro.
Thank you.
The motion that you get out of the arms from that ball joint, dude. Holy crap, man. You know what's funny? When you said mini boglins, like
Yeah.
that makes so much fucking sense now, right? Like when you said that, I'm like, oh, of course, of course,
And then
of course.
and then he holds them up, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, nailing it.
Oh man.
So these are great. These are some of my collection, and I've got loads of these things. Because sometimes I have weak moments, and I just go on eBay and buy a pack of 20 because there's one in there that I might need. But they're really cool, and there's just something about these that just, I don't know, man. Because the fact that they were only like released in Europe as well, and I think they're distinctly like a European style, like because they're so like ugly, like shapeless, and I just don't think you would have got these in like '92 anywhere else. And I just loved them, so I inherited like 7 of these from my older brothers because I was 1 when these came out, and yeah, just ever since I've just wanted to make something that I think is as cool as this. So that's kind of where the Shoggoth thing came from, because it was like these were solid color, because I paint miniatures and stuff for games and stuff, but I didn't want to do that in a way that I'd have to sell this, because obviously when you're putting work in something you have to sell, it can feel a bit more like a slog, and I am doing it these days. But the idea was that I could just make something solid color that was like those, and I did do the eyes in different colors and stuff, but that was trying to get on that. And I actually feel my latest thing that's coming out soon, I've got some fantasy sculpts, and they are very much in the style of these guys. They're about the same scale. And this is the production master. So I've actually got, hang on.
Those also remind me a lot of just like how you're saying the TMNT, like the Playmates lines, they used to come with like little companion pieces.
Yeah.
And dude, those put me so in mind with like the little companions that would come with like your TMNT figures and stuff.
Yeah, I forgot about those. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So yeah, that's my next foray. I've got 5 sculpts of these. I put a message out to a community, and I was like, would you like blind bags? Would you like not? And about 50-50 went, I would only buy these if these are blind bags. And the other guys were like, oh, I don't like blind bags. So I'm going to release them as blind bags and as not blind bags. And then also, because a bunch of my nerd mates who are painters asked if they could paint them, I'm going to do some painters blanks as well. So that's going to be fun. And also, because I get carried away, each one is going to come with a dice, a sticker, and if you go on my website, there's going to be some rules so you can actually play a little game with these guys. So hopefully people are as excited about that as I am.
Did you say nerd mates?
Yeah, like the people I go and play like Warhammer and stuff with.
Dude, those are great. So those are obviously original sculpts from you. Dude, so let's go back and just kind of start with, how your account started off. Now, like we were talking about the mini boglins, that's something where you can look at your original first sculpts and just go, yeah. It's very slimy, aquatic, stuff like that. It's all like very, the Shoggoth right there. These things glow too. These are super sick. But that's kind of where it started off, man. Is that obviously that was kind of the influence for you to start in that style. Now, the giveaway piece that you're showing now, that's obviously something like, where we can say, yeah, that's something aquatic, but it's obviously a completely different style. Was that kind of the plan going in, or did it just kind of morph into that, man? Because if you look at your account, it looks like it was almost, there's such a natural progression into what you're doing now.
Sure. I don't know. I've always made stuff because I thought it was cool. Like there've only been a few times when I made something because I wanted it to sell, and those things are generally terrible and don't do well. So it was just I wanted to get into making stuff again, and it really started when through my work they put me on a casting training course because they wanted me to get involved in 3D printing, and it never really took off. But the idea was that I would be in charge of 3D printing stuff, and then I would take that over to the casting department and they could run it. But I need that basic information in order to properly do stuff. Because obviously stuff like undercuts and where you're going to put air vents and things like that, super important. And I just really got the taste for it. I got trained by this amazing artist who's sadly retired now, but a guy called David Neat, who's just a model maker who just is the most fun guy. If you still look it up, David Neat blog, you can find just articles and articles about like, one day I wanted to make a marble table that was like this big, so I worked out how, and it's amazing. And he just had this real like love for it. And so I went on this week-long course with him, and it was just this crash course on everything model making and molding and casting. And I just wanted to do my own stuff, and I did kind of mess around with it for a while. I had, and I think this is probably on my other Instagram that I don't use anymore. But originally it was going to be like Lovecraftian fridge magnets and stuff. So it was like a deep one's face and some hands that was like there's a magnet in the back. But like I never really got the logistics, and also like I didn't know at the time that there was a community where you could make fun stuff and people would pay for it. So I couldn't work out how to actually market it. It wasn't until I started working with the Droid Foundry, who you're very well aware of, and I did some casting work for him. And he introduced me to the toy community. And I was like, oh shit, this is what I could have been doing this whole time. And he also encouraged me, like there were a few sculpts I was working on. I was like, well, just try and put them out and see, because the Shoggoths had been on and off for years as well. Originally they were going to be like a little jar of goo with an eye in it, and it was going to be like Shoggoth in a bottle, and it'd be like jewelry or something. Like I always wanted to make stuff, and I had no idea why, the actual end market, which I think is kind of the point anyway. Like I never want to be at the point where I'm making stuff because I think it is a good product. I want to make stuff because I want it to exist, and I want to be the one to make it and then hope that it can recoup its cost at the end. That's always the plan. And so when I had the Shoggoths in the form they are now, and I'd started playing with the rubbers and stuff, it was just like, you know what, we'll have a go, we'll put it out and see what happens. And later on, when that turned into like the robots and stuff, that was because in a couple of the other ones, I needed to print. I've never been good at like hard surface sculpting, so I could sculpt really organic forms, and that's why they're all like fish monsters or blobs, because I could just do that and I could make it look okay. But I'd always need to like 3D design and print like solid parts, like the ramen. I needed to print the bowl, and this was before I was printing my own stuff. And it was at that point that the software I was using to learn that Tinkercad, I realized that you could sort of push it a bit further and make stuff like the robots. So yeah, you can see there. So there's no way I was going to sculpt a bowl. Just not, I would be agonizing over it for ages and it would still look like a rock. So yeah, I got into 3D, and that just naturally, because I was playing with it, the robots came out. And obviously I was working with the Droid Foundry at the time, so I had robots in the head.
Right.
And so I started exploring those forms and stuff. And then honestly, I think this year is the first time I've ever really put them together with the Noxious Avenger, because I wanted to have like a Shoggoth riding a thing for ages, and it never really came together until this. So it's just I'll have an idea and I'll wait until I'm able to do it, and then we'll do it. So like I've wanted to do a lot of this stuff, like the new one, the Tabletop Terrors. I had an idea for like D&D Shoggoths 2 years ago, and I just couldn't quite get over that hurdle, so I just shelved it. But then, in the natural course of just making stuff and playing around, you have an idea and then it gets there. Yeah. So yeah, I never really think that far ahead, but sometimes I'll come back to old ideas. So yeah.
So what I find funny is like, even just looking, you can basically see like you start kind of designing it here. Suddenly you have the printed form, and then you have an entire fucking army of them on your workshop, man. You're like, as much as you're kind of just like, yeah, just kind of pick at something. It's like, yeah, but you're a machine. Like you're a one-man factory over there. You've got quite the assembly process.
I get hyper focused on something, and I want to make as many as I can in the best I can, as quickly as I can. Like And honestly, just in the trying to work stuff out, you end up with loads more than you intended to. And then you look down. Like I was like, these are something I wanted to renew the line of my my shoglings. Yes. And like I took these in with other stuff that, you know, they're fun and they're a dump mold basically. And I thought I had like 10, 15 of the things, and by last count I had about 76. So I think it's how I do it. It's rarely the intent that I'm like, I'm gonna make this many. It's just I start making something and then I stop, and there is a set, you know.
Well, and I was gonna say, but then you even showed it on that guy. Like the one thing that's nice with the Shawglass, you have kind of like a consistency with the eyes. I think that's what almost kind of makes it seem like you're still in the same style and flow, where you've got those very like rounded eye features on your pieces that kind of bounce between whether it be a robot or one of like your more like biological Shawglass.
Mm-hmm.
And those fucking glows, dude.
Oh, the glows.
I mean, everything still glows. It's gotta glow all the time, or what's the point, you know? Like,
when you said that you started, you know, Droid Foundry was the one who, which I think we'll get into this a little bit later, dude. The fact that like you were doing printing from the Droid for the Droid Foundry. I mean, let's be real, man. That dude's got 30,000 followers, and his stuff sells out faster than fast, probably faster than any other site that I've been on. Like, it's super, super fast. But anyways, when you first started, I mean, his stuff is obviously a lot different than yours from when you started off. Did he recommend or the rubber, where did that come in at, as opposed to like what he's doing? Because he's doing something completely different. Did he have any recommendations on, hey, maybe you should go this way? Or did you come to him and say, hey, I have this idea?
Yeah, that well, basically. So the so the rubber just came because I wanted to make something that I didn't have to paint. So I had the idea about the way that if I did them in a rubber body, I could pop the eyes in afterwards, and I'd have a nice 2-color thing, and I'd be done. And that just came through experimentation, because at work, one of the most common, it's a model shop, so one of the most common things that we have is like train enthusiasts and similar. So I do a fair amount of like little rubber tires for people. So like you'll get a rubber tire from something that was produced in like the 80s and isn't anymore. So they'll send it to me and I'll do you 10 of them, you know? So I had to learn to do rubber. So I had that skill. But in terms of so I was dealing with the Droid Foundry so I did casting for them for a number of years. He has other avenues now. But genuinely, he was just the nicest fella. And he'd always just chat about stuff. And I asked him about the toy community, because like I said, I didn't really know it existed before he showed me what he did. And I was like, I've been trying to sculpt stuff. Do you think there is a market for any of this? And his advice was just, if you think it's cool, I think it's cool, put it out there and see. And obviously, you know, he shared it around a bit. He was super helpful. Yeah, he was just the first person to be like, just do it. Like, it'll cost you nothing. Have a go. If no one ever sees it, then you've lost nothing, you know? And that was a real push off. I mean, it was also like, there was sort of a perfect storm of things anyway. Like I didn't have any other projects on at the time, so there was a bit of a lull, and I wanted to do something else. And also my wife, who is a professional illustrator, helped me do all the business stuff because I am an idiot. So she helped me set that up and make everything look professional. She still to this day does most of my photography because it looks so much better. So it was just this joining of like an incredibly supportive partner and this almost like Obi-Wan figure being like, go do the thing. And it was, yeah, and it worked out.
I want to focus real quick back on, you mentioned that your wife does all your photography, but also, are they responsible for your header cards on these guys?
Yes. So I don't do those so much anymore just because the nature of things has changed. But on everything from like the first 2 years, yeah, my wife hand painted and then edited all of those. So they're all like an original watercolor that was then taken, digitally edited, and then printed out on our home printer as well. So, yeah.
That's
yeah, honestly, sick. Do you think I'm blowing smoke up her ass whenever I say I wouldn't have done any of this without her? That is entirely true. So, because she did quite a lot of the work on the background of this. So, yeah.
And then you were mentioning the photography. I was actually going to point that out earlier because I know B takes great photos. Obviously, everybody in the community kind of knows B's got like absolutely gorgeous pictures. So I figured they would absolutely um, be down with some of the shots you get of your work as well, man. Because like just stupidly cool backdrops and settings for them.
Thank you. I see. I made half of them, and I've had to kind of stop doing that because you run out of space after a bit. So like I've got the factory up there, like on the back of a shelf. I've got like the greenhouse indoors. There's like a little set. Like there's a finite amount of sets you can keep, but it is a lot of fun. And I'm trying to do fewer of like the custom things. Like so like the one of the keg one there is just on a crate with a net against our back fence because I could not make like a dock. But I nearly did. And actually there was so one I released at the beginning of this year or the end of last year was the shipwreck one, and the shipwreck sat on my desk for 6 months because I couldn't find like a realistic tiny ocean to put it in. And then I just found a beach in London and I was like, it has to go out because I'm never going to get this perfect picture of it in the ocean because it doesn't exist. So yeah, that one.
Dude, Shipwreck is such a cool fucking piece, and the sculpt for this is so freaking neat, man.
Thank you.
It came out so damn cool.
Thank you. I was at work and had a bit of foam and a load of scrap bits of wood, and in my lunch I was just putting stuff together, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, we'll do that. So
for it to turn into this, I think most people would assume this is a 3D sculpt, man. The fact that this is actually a bunch of scrap work, just fucking top notch, dude.
I was very surprised that it came out of the mold. The amount of tiny holes on this thing that I just kind of was like, yeah, let's see. So it was a miracle that thing worked.
God damn, that's good.
Thank you.
God, dude.
And
that thing was so cool, man.
Do you feel like talking at all about this fucking wooden spinner that you've made for like
if you
shows and stuff? Because again, like such a multifaceted artist, man. You've got this sea of pieces here that you've painted and casted. You've got this handmade wooden spinner for when you're doing shows.
And actually, I think I'm going to bring this out of retirement because I designed this to have these little plaques come out. So for the whole blind bag concept of the new guys, I'm going to put little chits in here. So if anyone wants to buy one at a show, I'm going to be like, oh, well, which one are you going to get? You know, there was just something really animalistic. Because I did some goth markets here in London for a bit, and they were okay. It wasn't really my market, but they were really receptive to it. But the one thing that really triggers people is when they're walking past, this sound makes everyone turn and go towards it. This was another thing I made because I thought it was cool. I didn't have a spinning wheel, and I wanted to make one. And most of my day job is doing laser cutting for people. So I wanted to see if I could, and it turns out I could. I wish there was a better story to that.
Honestly, even the fact that you mentioned it's offering the blind bag opportunity at a live show is fucking brilliant, man. Because how else do you really provide yes, this is what I've got on my table. If you want to just buy one and walk away, cool. But if you want the blind bag experience, spin the wheel. It's like, oh, yeah. Fuck. Now they're engaged. And then the audio click for all the other people who are there. Brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant, dude.
Thank you. It was, like most things I do, I thought it was a cool idea, and it got far enough that I didn't give up on it. So
now this past year, you've also been participating, it seems, in quite a few of the online shows. You did Apocalyptico, you had done the C is for Creature. What would you say is so far like your experience with going from not really knowing about a toy community to now participating in some of these bigger online shows?
Weird. It's very odd. But kind of, I don't know, vindicating is the word I'd use, because I've always just made little stuff. And up to a point, it was just like, I'd make something, it would sit on a shelf for like 6 months and then probably get thrown away or something, you know, like I as much as I don't like making stuff without a purpose, the will to make stuff is overwhelming. So stuff gets made anyway. And the best part about that is, I mean, not only is Lab Monkey number 9 the best human being, but like it just giving a focus. Like I was never gonna make like a post-apocalyptic thing that was not on the cards. And then even like in my head, I was like, okay, my Shoggoths are always gonna be like kind of cutesy, and I'm never going to give them a weapon and stuff. But now I'm like, cool, give him a bat and some Boudikas. That's it, you know. It's a new thing. It's different and it's violent, but it's like once a year I get to make these post-apocalyptic things. And if it happens again next year, I'm going to do something with a little smoke machine in it, hopefully. But we'll see if that comes. If if it doesn't, I hope people forget this. But yeah, no, it's really cool. Just to because it's like a here is a subject, do that. And that is something that I always like rallied against in school. I would really hate doing like art projects. It's like, oh, I have to tie it back into some asinine subject that means nothing. But now I'm like, oh, cool, I get to make a fish man, or I get to make it, you know, like, and being part of a community is really cool as well, because it just being part of something bigger than oneself, especially because like there are a lot of toy makers in this country, but the way that you guys on that side of the world do it is so much more of like this oneness, right? Like, I've spoken to a few of the guys in this country who do it, and they're wonderful people, but we don't have this community the same way that you guys do. And being welcomed into that is just amazing, and it is well worth getting really tired for. So
now, when you say that, I mean, what are you speaking to specifically? Are you talking about like local shows and stuff like that? I mean, I know at least out here in the States, there are, you know, we do have specific shows like Simply Required and other kind of local toy shows. Some of them are, you know, indie toy related. Some of them are kind of half and half. Other like AR are 100% that. What's it like where you're at? Are you seeing any of that where you are?
I mean, I think it is there, and I'm just not doing it the same way. Like, I don't know, living in London, and I mean, yes, it definitely is. Sorry, that comment. It definitely is a worldwide community, and that is awesome. Blah blah blah. No, there definitely is a community. There definitely is a community here. But like I haven't really participated in it in the same way. And also getting up and down the country is just more of a mission than it should be, because, you know, I work 40 hours a week, and it's not that easy. And like there's annoyingly there's a load of this stuff in my hometown of Leeds that all started the year I left, which is great. And that's like 5 hours away, so it is there. I'm trying to participate in it more, but I just think it's not. I mean, it's different for starters. So there's definitely like a vintage toy collectors community. Like there's a few for stuff like Mimp and Mini Boglins and all this stuff. But the people who make stuff, at least I've not encountered them as prevalently. It may be me being antisocial, but I'm trying to get into that more. So I'm doing ToyCon UK in May, and I've never done that before. And that's kind of an attempt to step into this market a bit more. But I think also, actually, from everyone I've seen in that, there is much more of a disparity between people who like make stuff like I do and people who are basically like a toy company but in a house, you know, make these really slick, high produced like vinyl toys and stuff. And they're all really nice guys too, but it's a different vibe. I don't know. Once again, I'm antisocial and I just may not be meeting them, but
honestly, I think you kind of touched on it though. It's kind of like here. It sounds like a piss poor excuse when you consider that like Dre's in Ontario, Doc Horror is actually in Toronto, Yo-Yo Dine as well, LM9, but it is a little bit harder for us to get together. In the one city that we are in, of course, everybody's schedule and everything else, plus it's actually big. But then on top of that, to get to each other, it's actually like a 2-hour drive or a 3-hour drive. Like it's not like a hop, skip, and a jump. I think the States sometimes, you guys are a little bit more close together. We've got a lot of farmland in between those cities. But I think that's also what's so good about the online shows, is it doesn't really fucking matter where you live.
Yeah.
Is you can. And dude, I've got to give you props, man. You mentioned you're antisocial, but you hopping in on the live with LM9, I think was absolutely fucking fantastic, dude. It was nice to see you on there, because I know you don't often get an opportunity to stay up late enough to hop on those. But it's also sick seeing somebody like LM9 recognize that like you're putting out some absolutely dope work, dude.
Thank you. That's very kind. But I mean, I think also just because everyone like the few people in this community I have met in person, like the man in the chat who did my illustration, wonderful human being. I've done some casting for him. I need to earn more money so I can pay him for some work. Actually, that's one of my goals this year, is that I can commission something from him. But fantastic artist, wonderful human being, lives on the other side of London, technically the same city. It would take like 2.5 hours to get from like door to door. So we've only met a few times in central London. There's another guy I'm doing some work for, just put out his first drop, called Boglin Jim. He lives in Essex, which is not really that far away, but also like 2 hours to get there. So it's like, I think part of it's that I live in London, and London is inherently like overcrowded and antisocial. And I am. No, I'm going to admit this. Loads more other people could absolutely meet with everybody and see them all the time and do this stuff. And that is not me. I am the guy who would like to be here alone in my shed. But yeah, I just think it's different, but I'm going to try to make more of an effort to find those people this year, because it's nice. It's nice to find your tribe, you know?
Well, it's funny, even you saying that, you've got the chat popping off now, like Jason St. Paul is asking about Bliss. Bliss is actually over there. You've got Rainbow Yawns over there.
Yes.
LRA.
I want that Rainbow Yawn for some amazing advice on resins he gave me recently. I've been playing around with some stuff he suggested and making some cool shit that's also going to be coming out soon. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a freaking really rad one.
And this is going to have the eyes. This isn't quite finished yet. So this is the Mean Green Mother. This is like a sort of a spiritual successor to my Devouring Buds that I know you're familiar with. And this one's going to have a couple of eyes on either of these stalks and then like a flower coming out, but I've not quite done that yet. But yeah, if it wasn't for Uncle Matty, I would not have discovered this resin that is doing some cool stuff for me. So
gorgeous.
Yeah, definitely great people out there. I just I don't know. I need to get out of my house.
One of the first times that you and I were talking, actually, you mentioned, because if we're talking about interesting materials, you use cheval clay. Are you still rocking the cheval clay for a lot of like your actual hand sculpted works, man?
Yeah. I haven't hand sculpted anything in a hot minute. Just because nowadays I'm doing a lot more stuff on my tablet, and it means like at lunch at work I can whip out my tablet and make something new or work on it and stuff. So it's just more convenient, and also I like the polish it gives. Like I want to make really high quality polished cartoony stuff, and I know that there is a limit to the amount of time that I'm gonna actually spend practicing with actual clay. Whereas on a tablet, you know, it's more throwaway, and you can also go back and fix stuff. So it's just so I'm kind of moving away from that, sadly, which is a shame because I did like it, but also it gives way more room for like fuck ups. Because you spend like 8 hours sculpting something and then like something falls off. That is devastating. Whereas, you know, you misclick, it's like, undo, good times. But yeah, so I've still, the last thing I was sculpting was in Sculpey. I've always tried to be kind of varied, because there were some things where, especially with like the tentacles, it helped to have hard Chavant clay because I could form them more easily and I could, you know, smooth them out and stuff. Whereas stuff like Sculpey was a bit harder to work with, and you definitely destroy the master, whereas you can kind of ease the tentacle out of the mold. But yeah, I've always been trying to up to anything. So I'm just looking at my big pile of sculpting stuff now, and there's like used a bit of everything. Like there's some stuff that's like I've carved mostly out of foam and then sculpted and then put some clay on top. There's some stuff that's all clay. But yeah, Chavant clay, recommend it. It was really good, and I'd like to get back to it at some point. But it's just so much more convenient doing it on a tablet now.
Yeah, I think, you know, what you just described, the ability to be able to go back and correct something super quickly. And then you also have that kind of accessibility, I guess, you know, whether you're doing it on an iPad or on your computer, where it's a little bit faster, I guess it would seem like. Man, so kind of taking a look at your portfolio, going from where it was and you started off and then to where it is now. Where do you see it going from here, man? I mean, obviously you're talking about doing some, you know, articulation, some more of that. But do you see that style changing at all, or kind of just expanding on what it is that you're doing now?
That's a really good question. I tend not to think that far ahead. Yeah, I don't know. Well, no, you know what? The other day I was having a look at some of my older robots, and I'd like to try and remake those with a slightly higher poly count, because I was a bit limited by the software I was using, so everything kind of had a bit of like a almost like a PS1 aesthetic, because some parts just you could see the chamfer on it. So yeah, I think probably my next big thing after I've put my RPG Shoggoth's out, and the plant. I'm going to go back and look at the robots and see if I can push them a bit further. Like I wanted to try with the the Loch Ness Monster one, the KT. I want to try and put electronics in that for starters because it's big enough. Already hollowed it out and like put a hatch on it and stuff. But I also just want to go back and smooth stuff out. I want to try and put a bit more detailing in. I want to try and use more materials as well. One of the best things I had about Noxious Avenger is that I could play with a few things. So there's like a resin bat. He is really hard to focus. He himself is rubber, an 80 shore rubber. And then there's like 3D printed parts and stuff. And I want to push that a bit further because I know there are other. I've just started working with this really nice flexible resin to overcome some problems I had with printing stuff before, and now I can get better details without worrying about it breaking in post. And yeah, just I want stuff to, because one of the things I was looking at, there's obviously that flexible like snaky carapace on all of my robot work, and I'd kind of like if I could put like a hinge in there, so like you could pick it up and it'd be a little bit of like a. I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever want to go back to some, I mean, since the styles now are so, as far as even the material that you're using, do you ever want to go back and revisit some of the stuff that you've done before?
Yeah. So the part of doing this new plant is because I love this thing. This is still one of my favorite sculpts. And I've actually done a new batch of them with this like mica powder, but like, this just has so much more detail, like the veins and stuff, and like the teeth is a separate part and things. So this is sort of I want to go back and do like some spiritual successes, so I can take what I did then and a concept that I thought was strong and just iterate. I'd really like, and I know a lot of the comments on the giveaway post the other day were really into Jack the Mad, my pumpkin Shoggoth. I might and revisit that for Halloween. I think that'd be cool. But yeah, no, that's always the thing, because I kind of don't want to make older things obsolete. Although I kind of do, because going back and using ancient molds is kind of annoying. But whenever someone messages me and it's like, oh, you've got this thing that you don't make anymore, could you make one? And I'm always like, yeah. And then I start making it. So yeah, I think that probably there is always that temptation, because there are very few of my sculpts where I've made it. There are a couple that I've made and I'm like, that was kind of crap. But most of them, it was like a good concept and I want it to be better. So there is definitely that. But also, I don't want to get stuck in the loop of just constantly doing the same 5 things in a cycle. I don't want to be Disney. So, there's a point where I've made something and it's done and I should move on. But that said, yeah, I mean, and there are still loads of like, I remember, I can't remember what it was, but you guys on the show were talking about, and you said something like, man, how many times can you iterate on like a Shoggoth design? Loads. And I've got loads more, but like, we'll see. While I find it interesting, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah. You mentioned before that, some guys you play Warhammer with. Were you painting, or do you paint Warhammer figures too?
Yeah, I do. Not as much as I'd like. I buy more than I paint generally. Yeah. The idea was because I got into Warhammer for like 2-3 years ago, and then immediately realized that Warhammer 40k, the big combat game, was not for me. And instead I was going to shift over to Kill Team, which is like same miniatures, but you're like little Black Ops groups of like 5 to 14 guys. So the idea is like you've got a handful of people and I can paint 14 guys and that's finished. Like I don't need to do that anymore. Yeah. And that's much easier. I don't need to paint 100 guys. And then I bought like 20 Kill Teams over the course of 2 years, so they aren't painted anyway. But yeah, no, when I have the time, I like to paint. But I'm more into, I think like this stuff, like painting is the bit that I in theory like doing, but never get to, because I'd rather be like kit bashing into, some miniatures into something new, or looking into a new thing. And like, when it actually comes to the painting, it's like, they're in one piece, I can play, they'll just go on. So this whole shelf is like stuff that I haven't painted. So there's like 12 painted miniatures on there, and there's a lot more than 12 miniatures there. So
dude, your paint work on a lot of these, like this distressed kind of look that you have,
so good.
God, dude, that is so damn good.
Are you doing the salt thing?
Yeah. So
do you mind explaining?
Yes, please tell us about that.
Yeah, dude, of course. So this once again fed into the thing of I don't like spending ages painting stuff. It's like I can, but I want to be making the next thing. So the painting bit is always the bit I get stuck on. So I'm always trying to find quick methods. And this is what I've always referred to as the Benson method, because the guy behind the Droid Foundry taught it to me. And it's been something that's been around for years, but it's a thing. And actually, I can show you a work in progress one that I found earlier. So
I think Ben's mat is where I saw it as well originally. It's just so brilliant, man.
It's just great. And you can, and the cool thing is you can do it in a load of different ways to get slightly different effects. And you can also use it as a base and then go on to do other chipping methods. So I've lately been experimenting with, you just go at it with like this weird textured foam with some like of the undercolor, and you just do it on the edges and it gets this really nice chipping technique. Anyway, so the salt technique, the Benson method as I call it, you start by painting your piece the undercolor. So in this one, it is losing quite a lot of salt. I don't know if you can see that. It is this like brassy color. You did a little bit of highlighting and shading, but not a whole lot because you're not going to see most of it. You then seal it with something like I think I did this one with a gloss lacquer, just because I like it to have a little bit of a sheen. And if you put matte lacquer over a metal, you should paint it brown instead. So then you take it and you do this. So this is, or was, a mix of like 50-50 salt and water. So you get like a nice thick paste, and you just paint it on, usually against the grain. So it goes on like the edges and the recesses and stuff. And I've left this on quite thick, but you really can then like go in and take it off. And you can sort of sculpt it into the areas you want. You can also do the thing where you like spritz it with water afterwards and then sprinkle a little bit more on if you want fine chips. When you get to this stage, you paint it. So you do all the colors you want, all the highlights and everything. And then when that is fully cured or set, you really need to make sure it's fully set, or else it's going to be a smudgy mess. You just go at it with warm water and a toothbrush, and it'll take any paint that was on top of the salt and leave anything that wasn't. So you get these really nice organic chipping patterns that I haven't seen it. I mean, you can do similar things with like hairspray, but this is like the nicest way just because it also sort of dissolves and things. The only problem is you've got to make sure you really thoroughly wash it afterwards or the salt recrystallizes, which can be a cool effect, but if you don't want it, it's a pain in the ass. But it's just so good because it's a really good way of doing quite good chipping on like 20 things at a time. You can really batch this, and so you'll have like a whole bunch of the salt like drying whilst you're doing the next like 5 in one color, and then you swap them out and stuff. And it's just I was really happy with this method. And then when you got that, you can just take it further. You can just put like, I think with that one you had there, I just put some like weathering powder on it. You just put it on with a brush, and it like sinks into the recesses, and like this is a rusty color, so it gives you that advantage. And then if you want, you can take like a sponge and go in with more chipping and stuff. And it's just, but this just really takes the edge off. It does a lot of the heavy lifting, and yeah, big fan of that method. In fact, I forgot to do it on the Noxious Avengers, and I had to do it in a lot longer way, and I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed that I could have saved myself so much time, but I'd already got too far by that point. So,
That's wild, dude.
Well, and the outcome is so good. Like I'm sure B and I are both dying to show this one because this was actually a collaboration you did with Ben's Matt, man. And
yeah, it was. We did like 2 of them.
After this point, we really started seeing you get more into like the robot stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was cool. It was because he told me the software he used, and it's like the most basic stuff, really. It's called Tinkercad, and it's designed to teach primary school kids, or sorry, grade school kids, I guess. Elementary school kids. I didn't grow up in America. I'm sorry. Little kids. How to use 3D concepts, I should say, because it's not like it doesn't have a lot of the stuff, but you basically take shapes and then you can either stick them together or cut them out of each other, and then you can save whatever you've made, so you can kind of sculpt your own tools. And I thought that sounded neat, so I just started throwing stuff together, just to see what the software could do, because I studied animation production at university, so I did a load of 3D modeling back then, but we were taught to do it on Maya, which is ridiculously expensive, and I was not going to get that to foof around with. So having something I could play with again and make 3D stuff that I understood the basic concepts of, if not, so it's just, I was like, I can do this. That's pretty fun. And I did explicitly as well, because I was when I made the first ones that I was going to put out, I went to the Droid Foundry and I was like, I do not want you to think I'm ripping you off. Are you okay with me putting this out? And he went, it looks nothing like my work. Go for it. And he was just like, I needed that, or else you would never have seen those. Yeah.
Wow. Dude, so this one right here, I've never posted this one because I don't think I've ever seen this on your page, and I don't remember seeing this on Ben's match page, dude. I know this was a collab with you guys, dude. Tell me about this one.
Bigger.
So that was a super limited one, yeah. That was the Invaders from Space. So that was the last collab we did, and it was just an idea I had one day. It was like the last collab did really well. I've had an idea for a UFO. Do you want to do it? And he was like, yeah. He was like, yeah. So he designed the UFO. I designed the ray gun. And so the ray gun actually was the first thing I did in Tinkercad. I think that was my first playing with it. And then I just sculpted. So that was a Chavant clay sculpt that I actually had the 3D print that he had sent me, and that was the best because this was obviously before I was working in 3D. Now I could actually make it fit, but in that days it was like I could just put a blob in and then sculpt it, and I know whatever I cast will fit. So yeah, it was a really limited release. I think the way we did that was there is a Droid Foundry collectors group on Facebook, and we had like a raffle in there for the chance to get them. So I don't think it ever hit my Etsy or anything. Like there are actual pictures, like I made a backdrop and everything, and I think I've actually got one left. Because someone backed out and it was pink, and most people don't like pink stuff, so fine. But yeah, but it was fun, and it was really cool. Although that is another one that I really want to redo. Just the idea of like, I don't know, UFOs are cool, but I've never quite got that sculpt right. There's a song by the Pixies, Motorway to Roswell, and I painted this massive piece when I was about 17. My mum hates it because it's like 3 meters across on a massive canvas, and it's this crashed UFO in the desert, and this really pissed off looking grey smoking a cigarette and trying to bum a lift. And I left it at our family home, and I came back and my mum had faced it against the wall because it freaked her out. And I've always wanted to capture that again. I want to make a toy of that, but I've never got the sculpt right. But yeah, maybe someday. But that was really fun. It was really fun to work with Paul. We just didn't do it that often because it was sort of logistically a little bit, because our work methods were quite different. He would obviously make the Tinkercad thing. He would at his own expense get it printed and then sent to me as a master, and then I'd have to sculpt it, but then also work out how I was going to market it and do all the logistics and stuff, and then we just split the proceeds. But it was really fun to do, but the amount of admin it took almost made it just like I couldn't justify it. Also, it took too much time away from, like, I really wanted to explore my own ideas. So I love collaborating with people, but there's a point at which it's like this is fun, and it's very lucrative, obviously, because his market is just incredible,
right?
Which is insane for a retired chemistry teacher. Like, just he is like this folk lore figure in the toy community. But yeah, so I just and because the way I work is a bit hectic anyway. Like I'll do a bit of a sculpt and then I'll jump onto something else and things, and it's not super conducive with working with other people. And I fully admit that that's totally my fault. But yeah, so we only ever did the two. I think we did the brain canister and we did Invaders from Space. And I think we probably could have done more, but I just ended up doing other stuff instead. So yeah.
Still cool though, man. I mean, like the contrasted styles is what I really like about the flying saucer one is probably the ray gun, man. It gives it like this kind of 50s vibe to it, which is super cool. But I think the contrast of those two, your work and his work together, it's crazy. It's much like your profile where they're different but the same kind of. So very cool. So the show's coming up, man. You got any shows that you're working on coming up?
Yeah, ToyCon UK. So I thought I was going to have a bit of a quiet year just working on new stuff, and I applied to ToyCon end of last year, and I thought I hadn't got in. I have a feeling someone dropped out and I got their slot because it was a little bit late in the day. But I just got this invite and I was like, well, fuck, I've got to do it. Like, I can't not do it. I applied for it thinking that I probably wouldn't get in because I know that I don't know, maybe I was psyching myself out. But I thought like the skill and the caliber of what they have there is not what I do. Like I make fun little stuff and these guys make like art that is, probably a bit self-deprecating there. I'm fine. But yeah, so I got in. So I just really want to make a thing of it. So it's 2 days at the beginning of May. In West London, And yeah, so I've sort of dusted off all the old stuff I've still got on the racks. I've made there's like 10 sets of, so there's 5 sculpts of these guys, and there's 10 sets of all of those. Like I said, they'll come with a dice and a sticker, which I have to show the sticker if I can find it. Yeah. I really want to make more stickers, but I'm really not a 2D guy as well, so that just hasn't come up either. But like, so you get a sticker with it as well, and yeah, if you're so inclined, you can actually play a game with these guys. So that's like the big thing. But I also want to put out a couple of other things, get some, like, repaint some of the older robots to sort of give them a new life and stuff. And then after that, we'll see. That's kind of like that's the big event that I've got coming up, because I really want to make a good impression on the community there anyway. It's like a big show, so I want to do well. And then after that, I'm going to take a little break just to sort of clear my head, because it's been a bit of a grind, because I really wasn't prepared for this, and I probably shouldn't have applied for it, but I'm going to be okay, I think. And then yeah, after that, I'm going to take a little bit of a break and then just chip away at some other things. So, well, like everything we spoke of, I've also got a couple of sculpts I just want to do. There's an idea. There's a Halloween one that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm still trying to work it out. It's going to be Mummy Dearest. So it's a Shoggoth, but it's also like an Egyptian mummy. So it's going to be like, the way I want to do it is like a double cast with, like, it's going to be like a dark blue color, but then with pale bandages like hanging off it. And that's going to get some time. But yeah, we'll see. Like, my plans are do ToyCon, and then recover from ToyCon and see how I feel. That's the plan. So
yeah,
we'll see.
That'll keep you busy for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. While we've got you in here, I'm gonna put B on the spot too. B's actually got a collection of your work behind them, and I'm curious if you wouldn't mind, B man, grabbing anything there and just asking even Feral Foundry about anything that we haven't chatted about tonight. I think you might even have like a little Cthulhu there as well.
Dude, yeah. So this is when I first saw this one, I got this one, and then I have an all green one as well that glows, I believe. But this was one of the first pieces that I got from, this is obviously an original sculpt, right? This is in resin.
Yeah. So that I actually made way before any of this. That was sat on my shelf for like a year waiting for me to do something with it. I briefly mentioned the other idea was it was still going to be like Lovecrafty and stuff, but it was going to be these fridge magnets, and it was like it was a bit more straight, like it wasn't so wacky and funny. And then it was a Friday night. I was living in a flat with my mate, and he had a mate over, and I didn't want to hang out because, like I said, I'm antisocial, and I just started sculpting him. And I've always loved Cthulhu. I've always been a big fan. I remember when I was little, my dad had this poster in his office that was like from 1994, and I think it came with the old Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, but it was like, vote Cthulhu, why vote for a lesser evil? And I had no idea what that meant. But like, I was so enamored with the idea of it, but I'd tried to give me some Lovecraft books, but I was way too young and I didn't really pick them up until my teens. But that idea had always stuck with me, so I've always tried to do like tentacled stuff. So when I started up the Foundry, it was like, I've got this sculpt. Let's see, because I was just throwing stuff at the wall, like I've done like these art pins before that are like fine, but it was just a lot of effort and stuff, and that. And also another sculpt of a deep one. So they were early stuff I was trying out, and I still love these. I'm still a big fan of these, but they just didn't get quite the same traction as my toy stuff, and they were a lot longer to make. So it was kind of like, if I can keep the wheels turning on this with simpler sculpts, or at least different sculpts, then I will. And these just kind of fell to the wayside. But yeah, I still keep these nearby because I'm a big fan. But yeah, they didn't do as well. I actually there was a guy, I cannot remember his name, but he painted some for me, and I tried to sell those as well, and it just they just didn't have the same traction, so it kind of fell by the wayside. But I'm glad at least they have one fan.
They were great, man. You know what I think really makes those ones are the eyes. Yeah, man, the eyes on those are great.
I still feel like they almost have the Shoggoth eyes though. It's interesting. Like, you still have a very like popping of those rounded eyes, man, and it seems to carry through. But those are gorgeous sculpts.
I think it's growing up on 90s media, man. Like everything I've ever drawn has like a massive brow and like a protruding lower lip, and it makes like buggy eyes. I think it's why I can't draw female characters particularly, because everything is sort of weird and distended. But yeah, and I think that's the one thing you can see through everything. Like everything that has a mouth has a big old like bottom lip, and if they've got eyes, they're popping out. I just like it that way. I don't know. Works better.
Dude, let's talk about your the giveaway that you got real quick, man. That one, you showed it at the beginning. But golly, now the eyes light up in there. Those obviously run off a battery. And the battery was oh man, look at that.
Little 3-volt coin battery. The compartment's magnetized, so you just pick it up, but it doesn't it's magnetized enough that it doesn't come off, but you just put it at an angle and it comes off. 3-volt coin battery in a little compartment in his chest. I imagine these are as easy to find everywhere else as they are in my country, but if they're not, I'm sorry.
I think you're right, dude. I've seen though. There's a lot of things that have those style of batteries in it. Now, how many of those did you make? Is that you made the one for the show? Then did you have more of those for sale?
Yeah. So there's I made 4 in total. I sold one on the night, so it was the other clear one with yellow eyes, and then if you'll give me a moment. I did 2 painted ones in my normal Project Kraken style. So there's like the teal one and the red one. And the teal one has orange glowing eyes and the light up eyes even, and the green one has red eyes. So they're on my shop right now, actually, on the feralfoundry.com. So
oh, nice. Okay.
This might be, if that is on there and anyone has a look, don't buy that. That's not going to be fulfilled. Whoops. I'm still migrating my store over to Squarespace after Etsy was not worth it. So some stuff is missing and some stuff might be wrong. So I'm going to fix that.
Dude, so, just kind of, I don't know, going an extra step with that kind of robotic look that you have there. Now you've added the electronics in there. Are the electronics in the eyes, man? I think that adds so much. One thing that I thought was super interesting, what you said, you stayed away. One of your deciding factors to go into rubber originally was that you didn't have to paint them. And I think that's also something that the electronics can offer too, right? Is that like you can bring really the eyes to life without having to really put any paint in them. You're so good at painting. What is the deal with not wanting to paint, man? Is it a time thing?
Yeah, I'm impatient. Like the less I can do to make something look really good, the better. I think. Like I could agonize over these things, but realistically, like people buy my stuff and it does okay, but I don't sell that many. Like I haven't sold out on anything in a while, and like I would hate to have spent ages and ages and make the perfect thing and then it just sit there. Whereas if I can spend less time and make something that looks solid and does extra things, then I think that's just a better investment of my time. Like if everything I put out sold, then every piece would be like an art piece, I promise. But until that day, some stuff's going to be, I don't want to say cutting corners, but it's just efficiency. Like I want to make a good toy, but I don't want to spend ages on it. And after 8 hours at work, I want to get home and just do a little bit of something, and that's good. And also I'm just really impatient, man. Like motivating myself to paint. I love painting, but actually getting there where I've got my brush and I'm prepared for it takes so much work. I just have to be in just the right mood. And yeah, so it's easier just to like stick eyes in something or do like a salt wash or
Yeah. Interesting, man. That's I could see the time being a thing too. We always talk about Lab Monkey 9 and the way that he casts his different pieces in different colors, and so he kind of can avoid the painting too. Same idea there, but still looks really, really good, man. Now, is the green one, is that something that you would ever try to go back and paint, or once it's printed like that, is it pretty much done?
No, so I made this because I printed them like this because I bought some green resin for another project, and then didn't need it. So I was like, well, I'll print them in this because that looks kind of cool. And then when I was showing friends and stuff, the early in progress shots, they're like, oh my God, that looks amazing. Is that how you're going to sell them? I was like, well, no, I wanted to paint them, but I guess I will now. So I just made 2 that were sort of blanks because I don't know, it looks good enough. It looks cool, and people responded to it. And I think that I always, I'm always going to make stuff because I think it's cool. But if someone really voices an interest in something and thinks it's really good, then I'd be silly not to try. So,
dude, the way that those are transparent in that color green, I mean, just the way that character is with the articulation, and then you have the electronic eyes. I mean, dude, I think any color that would look great in any color. The green is very cool because it's very aquatic and really fits with the the whole creature theme. But still, man, anything like, dude, if you did that in like a red, a yellow, God, dude, those would be super, super sick. It's great anyways, no matter how you have it. But dude,
I mean,
so
sorry,
I was just gonna say Abaddon 40 in the chat says they bought that green one on your site earlier tonight. So,
right. Well, no, you know what then? I will send you a message and I can make one custom. Don't worry about it.
There you go. Problem solved.
Solved.
I'll let you figure that out, but it sounds like you just figured it out. So
no, yeah, I will. That's fine. I can make more of these. We will make that work out. Also, I need to find out why I didn't get an email about that. So that's going to be something for tomorrow. But no, we'll sort that out. If yeah, that's which is so in the industry I work in, I make bespoke stuff for people every day, and the one thing is that like making sure that the customer is happy at the end of the day is important. Like if a customer's an asshole, then that's different. But if like someone's genuinely tried to get a product and something has gone wrong, it is, you have to do everything to make it right. And I've tried to do that through everything. Like some of my earlier droids had the problems with the resin and stuff was too thin, and I had some breakages going across the planet, and it was always like, all right, how can I make this? Do you want a refund? Do you want a replacement and stuff? So yeah, if anyone has bought it, if you have bought that, we will make that work out, and I will print you one, and we will sort that out.
Dude, how tough is it? Because this is something that I think almost every artist that we have on the show brings up is, you have the art side and the creativity side and running into a block and just kind of that challenge of creation, I guess, in general. And then there's challenges in the process that you're doing, and it can be a list of reasons why something's not going right. But then you have this whole other aspect of it, right? The customer service, the packaging, the website, the tracking, the not getting updated on a sale. How frustrating is it that? I mean, I know that you have your partner was involved with the art a little bit, so I'm sure that absolutely helps. But just that being aside too, even the artwork side, there's this whole other customer service side. How frustrating is it for you, or is it frustrating at all? Is it just like an added thing where, I mean, obviously you want your customer to be happy, and you're very good at achieving that. But does it distract from what you want to do at all?
Yeah, consistently, honestly. Like you've hit the nail on the head, absolutely. I make stuff because I like making stuff. At no point have I ever wanted to own a shop. At no point have I wanted to, work in customer service, particularly on top of the job I already do at work. It's really rewarding, honestly, because people are so nice, especially the people who buy this kind of stuff are just really nice people. And they're really understanding. If something goes wrong, they're pretty cool. But it's just like, yeah, it's the hardest part of it. And I kind of wish if I was successful enough, and this is like a real pipe dreamy thing, I would get someone to do that for me. Like if I could not do that, I'd do it. But like, it's just a constant thing that I have to remind myself to do. Like making sure I have enough like packaging material and stuff, and like just like the right size of boxes, and especially doing custom stuff, like whether it's like a jiffy bag, whether it's like 5 sizes of boxes, and having storage for that. So like I've got a whole shelf here that I can't use for anything else because I have to have bubble wrap and storage and stuff. I've been remaking my website since October, and I have got not very far because I just want to make man, like, and the best part about doing this is that it pays for my hobby stuff. Like, it is not my day job, and that's kind of a relief, because I think if it was, I'd probably stop loving it as much. But it's hard sometimes, and I do need to make myself do that more. And I'm trying to structure things a bit better so I do, because there's still Like I got my website definitely to a place where it's like it's got a gallery, which is the most important thing. Because at the end of the day, if I sell my toys, which is the idea, all I have is the photos. And if someone can go back and look through like my portfolio, that's great. And it's got the store, even if it's not got enough in it, it's got the store there, and that's great. But like it needs more stuff, and I haven't made time for that because I've been making more stuff. You know, like I've been making the plants on there. So it's like I could do all this admin stuff, but it's the new guy, you know. So that is always the hardest bit. The customers is probably the easiest bit because everyone's so. I've not had anyone yet who is like hard to deal with. And after years of dealing with people for bespoke services who are like architects and product designers and like set designers and stuff, some of those communities have really difficult people. Not everyone, a lot of nice people. And so like, you know, I've become numb to that, and no one in this community has tested me yet. So it's always been just nice and pleasant and great. But yeah, there are days where I'm like, I wish I could just like give this to someone else and they could make it work. Like I think the main reason I don't have more Instagram followers is because I just don't post that much, because the idea of like stopping to set something up and then take a picture and do it is like, yeah, but I could be working, you know. Every so often I get the idea to make more videos, and then most of the time it doesn't materialize because I'd rather be working on this. So yeah, that's definitely the hardest bit. And honestly, if I had more discipline, it'd probably be fine. But
it's tough, man. I mean, I think that, you know, we've all seen, you know, websites that look good and websites that, you know, probably need some work. And it's a whole, like you said, it's a whole nother thing. You know, there's definitely a skill to making it look right and making it flow nice and making sure all the clicks are right and everything like that. And it's just another thing that you have to do. I think that was funny. What you said was, you said your shop needs more stuff, but you don't have time because you're busy making more stuff.
Yeah, I'm admin, man. I'm not. But also, like, I mean, I wish it was that simple as well. Because like, there was a point where I was putting up the gallery for the robots that I still haven't done yet. But I did get sidetracked, and I spent 2 days learning how to make a text adventure to put on a website before I realized that, why am I doing this? It's 2025 and I don't need this. But like, yeah, it's a me problem.
Oh man. All right. So let's get to this giveaway. If you're ready for it, we can start. Crumbs, how many people did we get on the wheel this week?
Sorry, we had 27.
27. Well, 1 out of 27 shot. That's actually not bad. God, look at that thing. It's such a beauty, man. Eyes light up. I apologize, dude. I did not even write in there that the eyes light up, but holy smokes.
That's all good, man. I don't advertise this stuff very well.
God, dude. And it's that's a large figure, dude. What do you think the scale on that is? God, that's got to be what, 3? The thing is, man, like, it's not all super tall, but it's just a large. It's a good sized piece.
It's chunky. He's like 4 inches tall.
Yeah,
and
about 5 inches wide.
I was going to say probably 4 or 5 inches wide too. Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
We talked about it before.
I painted over the inches side of my ruler, so that was hard to do.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it a couple times, but that size kind of like almost gets overlooked every now and then with the 3.75s and then almost the 5.5s, and we almost forget about like that lovely Playmates middle size.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I grew up with. Like, I remember when I was like 8, I got some charity shop Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I never really grew up with that stuff. I don't know why, I completely missed it. But they had the ones that like was a turtle and it would turn into the Ninja Turtles, and there was also like it was just like a guy who would turn into Bebop. He was just like a weird looking guy. But I love those, and they were like this, and they were chunky, and it's like the density of it is just.
All right, man. So yeah, we've got 27 on the wheel here tonight. I tried to do a quick little scan over and make sure we grabbed everybody there, but we'll give it a spin if you guys are good. Oh, look at that. There's little sound effects with it and everything. Number 6. That's going to be... Okay, well, now we almost have to spin the wheel because that actually is Abaddon 40.
Get out of here. Are you kidding me?
So Now figure that one out.
I might make things easier.
Holy smokes, dude.
Fuck, dude.
What the fuck are the chances of that?
That's pretty good going. That's pretty good going. That solves the problem for me.
Hey, dude, what the hell? I almost need to check this out myself because I put my phone down. Like, what the hell?
He doesn't believe me. Like, let me look at the comments, double check that Crumbs isn't just trying to pull our legs.
That is crazy. Well, congratulations. That was fucking nuts. Did we just
tell me that the Google is listening
dude.
to us?
I think we just spoke that into existence, dude. That's nuts. How about that?
It's called the karma wheel for a reason.
Holy shit. Dude, it was an absolute pleasure having you on, man. I feel like we could probably go on all night. And you know what, dude? I think even after that chat, I don't know about you, Crumbs, but I feel like that we just kind of barely scratched the surface of.
We opened the Pandora's box. We were like, hey, we knew this guy did a whole bunch of dope shit, but did you know all this? And now, yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's like, once you start kind of getting in there, it's there's a lot going on, dude. You are super talented, dude. I have loved to see how your account has and you know what, dude? I don't even know if like growing is the right word for it because there's, like we said, dude, there's two different styles that are still kind of tied together. And it's just cool to see that, as we go on, because there's killer pieces in both style. It's just, it's cool, man. It's very cool to see. Is there anything else you want to get out there, man? I know you said you got the ToyCon UK coming up.
That's about it, right? I'm there will be more stuff coming alongside that. But that's my focus right now. Obviously, if you like what you saw, please follow me on Instagram. If you see anything on my website that is not available, hit me up because we can sort it out. Also, like a lot of the robots, I just haven't put on the store yet, and things like that. So please, get in touch if you're interested in anything. I also wanted to thank the two of you because since like the start of me doing this, you guys have been singing my praises, and that's helped a lot. Because I don't do enough on Instagram, so it's a little bit like screaming in the dark sometimes. And you guys have just constantly given me potentially undeserved praise, but you've been really kind, and you've given me your platform, and I am so very grateful for that because I do not think I would be remotely where I am without both of your help. So thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure, man. I'm sure I speak for Crumbs too, dude. Where it's just, like I said, man, it's a very cool account with a very unique style. It's a very identifiable style, and it's super super cool to see.
I've got one last thing personally before you go. You have to explain to the homies that are chilling in the chat how this piece ended up being molded and casted because it's one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard.
I forgot in the this up. I'm so good I couldn't find a video. So I wanted to. This was the first year I was doing stuff. I wanted to start doing seasonal Shoggoth. So I'd done Jack the Mad already. I'd done a Valentine's Day one, and this was like Easter. It's easy. I'm gonna make an egg, and I'm gonna make something like coming out of it. And as with anything, the shortest route for me is usually the best. So rather than sculpt an egg, I got an egg. It was at lunch, my lunchtime at work, and I went through a bunch of shops to see who would sell me a single egg, and some guy would. And then I stood there while my manager filmed me poking a hole in it and then blowing the whole egg out into a bin, and then I filled it up and then sculpted it from there. And somewhere, Crumbs has this video. I do not have the video. I think my boss has the video. And I'd forgotten about that until today, so thank you. But it's okay because UK eggs don't have salmonella, so it's fine.
That I'm gonna have to Google afterwards.
I mean, they probably have all kinds of worse stuff from loads of antibiotics, but no salmonella, so that's one thing.
It's been a dream, man. You have a great rest of your evening and a happy birthday again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, dude, appreciate it.
Oh, I'm surprised Jazz didn't chime in with anything when he said blowing eggs into a bin.
He's obviously not paying attention, or he's like logged off or something like that.
What
But
dang?
dude, I really do feel like so that was roughly an hour and 20 minutes. But it really does feel like it's probably we probably don't know as much as we should about him. You know what I mean? What a
Just
talented fucking dude. Holy shit,
that's
man.
literally what I was supposed to say. Just a stupidly talented individual, man, and
Yeah.
so nonchalant and humble about it.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Absolutely, dude. It's like there's just so much going on there, man. You know what I mean? Like the rubber and the reason why and the colors and dude, even the background. He said he just threw that one up against the fence in the backyard or whatever. But like he said, oh yeah, it was supposed to look like a dock, and I'm just like, bro, you fucking nailed it. Like that's exactly what I thought of when I saw that. Um, but still, man, still, it's very cool to see like two styles that are so different yet from kind of the same place. And I mean, the work that he's doing, dude, doesn't like to paint, right? And like, look at that paint work; it's stupid. The salt method,
Oh, jeez.
like, get the hell out of here with that, dude.
Man,
I've never heard of that before.
you nailed it. Doesn't like to paint. Stupidly talented at painting.
Golly.
It's like, yeah, man. What do you mean you don't like to paint?
And he said that nobody bought. There's a pink spaceship with an alien available, which was a collab with Droid Foundry, and nobody bought it. Like, what? You talk about like a little chunk of gold just sitting there waiting for somebody to swoop up. I would definitely hit him up about that one. That one's that's a super super sick piece, man. But yeah, dude, it's just all like you said. There's he's just a good dude too, man. Super good dude. I know he got married recently. That was just happened. He said 3 years. I cannot believe it's only been 3 years. It seems longer than that, dude. Doesn't it? Or no?
I mean, I would say maybe three were creeping into four like that. I can see that.
Yeah. Um, and the connection to you know what, dude? I think, and I should have probably asked him about this. I think that if there would have been more and it's nobody's fault because I don't think there's when you go into something like this, you really talk about whose name is getting mentioned in post when you're doing a collab and whatnot, right? But with Droid Foundry having about 30,000, you would think that if that was advertised of like, hey, I'm doing a collab with Feral Foundry, that would have just gone off the charts. And maybe it did, and maybe that was the case. And I just don't
Why
realize.
didn't you ask him? Why didn't you think to ask him?
Because I'm stupid, and I told you I didn't do a lot of research, and I'm behind, and I just
I was just teasing, man. I'm
when I'm
sorry.
freestyling, and I just like kind of dumb shit comes out of my mouth, or no shit comes out of my mouth. Either way, dude, like the original sculpting, the 3D sculpting. Isn't it funny how a lot of people that we talk to just kind of stumble into 3D sculpting, and it's like I just started, and next thing you know, and it's all dope.
Yeah, yeah. And the biggest one is being able to do it at any time, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, I get that, man. Like totally. Even without even doing it, I could see how picking up an iPad and doing something like that is a fast track. Now it's great to sit down and have a chunk of wax in front of you and heat everything up and get your tools ready.
They're different things.
Yeah, it's great, dude. And I think
Yeah.
when you're into that, that's part of the whole thing, right? Is you're doing a thing. There's a ritualistic uh piece to it where you're sitting down and you have something tangible in your hand and you're heating up your tools and you're getting everything ready, which is great, dude. But I mean, let's fucking be honest, man. We're all adults here, dude. Sometimes we just don't have the time, space to do that. It's just we got other shit to do, man. It's much easier to, pick up an iPad and sit there with your kid or whoever on the couch and just kind of, do your shit.
Yeah.
It's it's all good, man. It's all it's all part of it. And
Some
he
days
and
I want to roll a nice blunt. Some days you just want to hit the bong.
hey,
It just is. The amount of you hit it though, the amount of materials, the amount of prep work. Some days that's very therapeutic, and that's exactly what you want. You want to go into the garage, sit there with all your tools, be focused in, touching it. The other issue is that when you're literally sitting at the TV with your partner or your friends and you just want to relax, it's easier to grab the tablet.
Straight up. Yeah.
You've got a box to pop, eh?
Dude, I got a couple things to talk about. Yeah. Man, let's just get into it right quick because there's a few things here. This first one is one that I showed last week. This is the new Jebaho Creations Ganesh 5.5.
That doesn't look. That doesn't even look like a fucking handmade toy, man.
Bro,
Like in the best way.
It's so stupid good, man. And his series that he's doing right here is phenomenal. I mean, even the card, the quality, the clarity is just stupid good. The figure itself, dude, look
Insane.
at that.
Just
It
beautiful.
looks like I think I mentioned this last week or the week before as I brought this over to Hertz house, and he said the same thing, dude. You look at it and you're just like, what the fuck, dude? That's nuts. I haven't even opened it yet, but there is other accessories there on the bottom that you can see. It's just insanely good, dude. I don't know if you saw his Mike Tyson's that he posted today. Those are stupid good. Everything that I have from him is insanely good, dude. I mean, he's 5.5 elite, for sure.
Do you think you'll pop those? Are you gonna open that?
These, I think so. I mean, I have the other one in the series, and that one, I don't know, man. It's all about room right now. You know what I mean? I'd love to keep them in the packages, especially his, because they're so clean and they add a lot to the piece. I think some of his other stuff that I have connected to the backer, the Raekwon that's still connected to the purple tape, that's probably one of the dopest pieces I own. The Man with No Name, the Clint Eastwood piece, the backer on that one is kind of oversized and it's got this beautiful like Western background to it. So it's like, that's the thing, dude, with some of these pieces like that. Like, yeah, I would love to take this out and display it, which I probably will. But then what do you do with the backer? You don't just hide it. You know what I mean? You want to see it.
Yeah. You and I were talking about the other day too, and I guess it's still hidden, but a binder with like all the different sized sheets.
Yeah. And then even if you're displaying this, like, how do you display the backside? It's like you almost want to put it like in something clear where people can. I don't know, dude. It's just there's so much involved in these, and yeah, I know it, dude. It's like they're not cheap, but once you get them, you're like, yeah, dude, that shouldn't be cheap. I think it's worth every penny of it. The accessories, dude. Look at the
Gorgeous.
the soft goods and the jewelry,
Yeah.
the paint work. It's just, I mean, it's cleaner than clean, man.
Incredibly good. Yeah.
Cleaner than clean.
Yeah. And what's tough is like we're at that point, we kind of understand like what it was casted in and like the paint, and it's just like it's still fucking dope as shit. It like knowing what went in, like that doesn't minimize it, it only amplifies it.
Yeah. It really is, man. I would say that he has a few pre-orders on his site right now. He's got the Tyson. There's a Rambo on there, I believe. But it's, if anybody's thinking about these pre-orders, or even if you see other stuff that comes up from him that's for sale, he makes a lot of stuff. You will be happy with it. Promise you that. Next thing I got is something that I saw from Plastic Vomit.
I just wanted to show those Tysons real quick, man, because you kind of fucking nailed it. They're just fire, dude.
Dude.
Jeez Louise.
Come on, dude.
That's stupidly cool.
Yeah. 100% handmade, fully articulated arms, neck, waist, rubber band leg, dude.
Oh, frig, man. When does he have the time? Well, I guess that's what happens when you're a pro, right? You find the time. You make the time.
Cranking them out, dude, for sure. This one is from Plastic Vomit. This one does have a saber with it that I just dropped, but this is the This is the Disco Vader 3.75. Very cool. This glows.
I almost pulled up the fucking tab of that today because that thing is so sexy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was one available a while ago. It looks like he made another one, but yeah, dude, it is really, really good. I love it. It's all articulated. The funny thing is on this one, he included a little personalized safety helmet for me. So
Oh
I
my
got
goodness.
a little safety Vader there, which is cool.
They are too good, man.
I know.
That's
So funny.
beautiful.
But these are great, dude. This is, I mean, obviously the colors on there are super sick, but this all glows, dude. So I can't wait to take some pictures of this and get some glow on those. But came bagged up in the Plastic Vomit Customs 3.75, zipped at the bottom. Perfect. That's how I like it. Next one. This is interesting here. This is from Hip Hop Toys Remakes Plethora. I believe it's under Hip Hop Toys, but Lee from Remakes Plethora is the one making these. Really nice backer on here, man. What's interesting about this one is it's a 3.75 static. Looks like painted arms. But this was at a new price point for them, and that's how they advertised it. Was, I believe the price point was like 20 or 30 bucks. And that sounds like something that maybe you might be doing a little bit more of. Uh, I don't think this stuff was all super expensive in the first place, but this is something where they were specific about saying this was a new price point. But yeah, you got 3.75. This one's numbered 31. I don't know how many was in this run originally, but bam. That's what you got there. That one's sick. Next one, yeah, Blisterceptor. That was a good one. Next one is this last artist I have actually, but there's a few pieces on there. So ETC, they just had a drop. This one right here. This was in the meat market. This is the Budator. I don't know if I'm going to take this one out or not, just because the packaging is super cool. USDA Prime. The sticker is really, really cool on there. 98% lean Safui ribeye.
I think Fucked is asking about the remakes Plethora one.
No, it is not. It almost looks like it though, right? Like it's really thick. It's a really thick, like cardboard backer. Yeah, not wood, but nice quality backer for sure.
I get why they'd ask though. The figure bouncing around in there does sound like it's almost up against, like that's how thick it is. It sounds like it's against hardboard.
It does. Yeah, you're right, dude. I mean, you know what I mean? It's thick. It's nice product. But yeah, Budator, that's my first Budator. It's in the meat marble. He did a few different figures in this colorway and released those last week. So you may be able to jump on there and see if there's still some more left. These ones right here, man, these are crazy, dude. So my bad. These have actually been out for a little bit now, and I didn't realize that on the site they were actually the 5.5 scale General Enos and not the larger ones. But these 5.5s, man, are just so freaking cool. I promise.
Joints.
Oh, dude. Yeah, dude. They're really, really good. And you would think that, the more you move these with some Safubi or even with resin stuff too, that like it loosens up a little bit. This one doesn't feel like it's ever going to do that. They really stay in, wherever you put them. But it's got the clear helmet. It's got the orange helmet. But like I said, dude, these are, 5.5 scale. They just, man, actually, Jevaho and I were talking about these a little while ago, and he was like, dude, they feel really good in hand. And fucking A, dude, he is right. These are great. I would recommend these on any level, no matter what color. I did get that one. And then I got this, the packaging. Let's take a look at the packaging too. So they're coming like this, bagged up. There is a header or a General Enos card that it's coming with. But it has the, it's coming bagged up. And then I also got this green one. This was a limited colorway, but he's got them in these bags too, like these kind of see-through bags, which are cool. There's a kind of 70s green, I think is what he called that one. That one's really cool. And then he's got these ones as well. These mixed parts. This one, I believe these are glow in the dark here, orange arm and green torso, a different green torso. But he's also got some slime green ones on there available. There was some ones in the meat marble. Those were available. I don't know if they're sold out now or not, but yeah, if you're looking for something a little bit different, these are going to run about, I think they're about $45 US. But if you want something a little bit different that is super cool, there it is, man. I would definitely snag one of those. Very cool. I wonder if there's going to be a show with this scale. Even if there's not, man, this is just it's a fucking really cool toy is basically what it is. And that will wrap that portion of the show up.
When you mentioned that it feels good in hand, there's something about those figures, man, that they just look like you're a toddler, but in big. You know, when you're a kid and you're holding your action figure and you're walking around with it and it holds in your hand, there's just something about those that's, I don't know, as a grown-up, I like that.
Yeah, dude. And you know what, man? I think when I was a kid, I think that was something that really drew me to like the original He-Man stuff, because it was bigger and they were different than, G.I. Joes and Star Wars. Not that I had G.I. Joes, right? But Star Wars. And any of the 3.75 figure that I had seen, just kind of traditional action figure, that was one of the draws for me, was, the 5.5 style figures. And then, the larger, LJN wrestling figures, those ones were always cool. But I think for those, it's just like you said, man, it's a larger scale toy. But as an adult with these, like, fuck, man, it's one of those things that, like, once you get it, you're like, oh, fucking A, yeah, that is cool. And that's exactly what I said. I was like, fuck, man, he was right. Those are awesome. But yeah, really, really cool. And I think he got those done at a new place. Did you know with the General Enos, dude? Do you know that every time that he gets that made, it's been a new sculpt every time?
Fair. That's fucking impressive.
Yeah. Right?
God damn, man.
Different people sculpting it every time. So the Brazilian one was different. This one was different. They're just, I was like, God dang, dude.
He's got a General Enos toy line out there.
Yeah, no shit.
That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah. That's all I got as far as those, dude. What do you got? You got anything over there? You got some tabbies? You got some pieces?
Yeah, I figure we look at some tabbies, man. There's like 15 minutes left. We can wrap this into 2 hours.
Fuck yeah.
Look at us go. Not often we can actually keep to a schedule of any kind. But if we're going to talk about some pieces that have dropped, I know that Easter's kind of around the corner here. Resin Blood actually ended up having these guys up in the store.
Yeah.
Those are like zombie rabbits. I don't know why I said rabbits like that, but yeah. Resinblood.com. These are up in there now, man.
Did you say zombie rabbies?
Yeah.
Cool, man. I really like that other sculpt too. That rabbit is super sick, dude. I like the hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Very alien. I don't know what's going on there. They remind me of like little like turkey hands. Do you eat turkey on Easter? Is that a thing?
Turkey on Easter?
Yeah, is that a thing?
I think traditional. Well, I shouldn't say that. Who the fuck am I to say what's tradition? Typically, what my mother would do when Easter came around, it was ham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a.
I just wondered if because he's got very almost like those like scrawny, turkeys have those gross ass little fucking legs.
Yeah,
they just kind of have that gross little like clawness to them. Anyways,
I would eat turkey on Easter, just to be clear, and ham.
Fair. We've talked about this artist a couple times, actually. I didn't realize that they were only sitting at 380 followers. Raygun Wizard just dropped these, actually. Or, sorry. Yeah, now live in the shop. The Grody Bogans. So for some bit larger pictures of them here. But that's quite the cool kit bash, man. I like when we see body parts in places where they aren't intentionally originally supposed to be. Like these arms up here, up on the head. Just fun. Somebody else.
We'll be looking at that pink and purple, or that purple and blue, in a couple of weeks, my dude. $30, bro.
That's
30
insane.
bucks. I thought that was a good deal. Solid resin. It's a big piece. I mean, they're fucking, bagged up. They look cool.
There you go. $30 for those guys. Also, only 65 for a cube head.
I was gonna say, grab yourself a cube head too. If you're out there painting Safubi toys, more cube heads, dude. I saw Eddie do one, and it was so sick, man.
Even actually, Raygun posted some that the other day. I was like, hot damn, that looks fucking good.
Yes.
Like, these are fire. Just even with like a quick little like pearlescent on them. But then, did Kachina do some?
Ooh, yes.
You gotta love it, dude. I didn't even know this tab was open yet, but like Kachina's just got that fucking style, man. You know it's them.
Oh, they were available at Assembly Required. I wonder if those sold. God, those are fucking good, man. Woo!
Now, okay, Space Punk toys.
Man,
this piece here.
Snagged it.
Jeez Louise. They're gonna have pre-orders open for these, actually, I believe. Now up on their website. Now available online for the first time, hand painted, resin printed, only made a handful. Check the shop.
Sick.
Fucking good.
Dude, that's another one, dude. Like for a really good quality, super cool 3.75, for display. Fucking dude. Come on.
And again, 302 followers. Y'all are sleeping. What is going on here? Oh my gosh.
I have one of those. It's amazing. They're great, dude. Everything. I have that. I have a Trooper. They're
Force
great.
Ghost Luke. Blue Milk Farm Boy.
They're great quality pieces. They're clean. I believe they're from Asheville.
They are, yeah. Oh, damn, that's a good piece. We must have looked at it during the
showdown. Yeah, that one goes. Yeah, God, dude, those were that's good, dude. Boba Shred.
Fucking, what is the Gandalf? Now I'm just curious. 35 for Grey Wizard.
Yep.
Jesus, man.
Oh, the Skeletor Warrior sold out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, congratulations,
dude. At 22. 22 bones, dude.
Yeah, silly. Such a fun fucking piece.
Straight up, man.
Speaking of fun pieces, Yo-Yo-Dine is actually going to be dropping these tomorrow. They come in the little shoebox packaging, but they paint up a bunch of the micro Superstar Destroyers to be your classic Adidas.
Nice.
Also, I find it fucking hilarious. Man, I was telling Mac the other day, our dollar stores here have gym bags that have the classic 3 stripes, and then it just says sports in the Adidas fucking font. Just a sports bag, says sports. Fucking Mothman Republic with the drop tomorrow as well. Going to be a couple of these little Easter bunny dudes back from the dead, but not in the cool way, just in time for Easter. Fuck, man, the sculpt on this is funny. I like the extra little chain on there.
Yeah. It's Easter.
It's Easter. Fuck, Friday drop. Heinous Holidays Wave 1. Oh.
Nice.
And then, of course, Hobo Toys, when they were in, they were telling us all about these Hermans.
The Herman.
Jesus.
Yeah, man.
Of
Those
course.
are, and actually, those are, gosh, dude, does he say what the scale is? I want to say those are bigger than what I had originally thought.
Yeah, there's something about the post picture size that makes them seem very much like a mini.
Yeah.
But I don't believe they are.
No, they're not. Yeah, you're exactly right, dude. They're larger. And I think he showed them on the show, or
he did
a picture of them or something like that.
4 inches, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
see, this is what I'm going to start doing as well, man. If you can make 4 inches so small in pictures, but actually be 4 inches, like that's what my excuse is going to start being as well. Tell me your technique, and I'm going to pretend that's what I'm doing.
Oh man.
I'll be like, it just looks like it's the size of a tiny little mimp. I promise.
Yeah, those are clean,
Um,
though, man. I like that red. That translucent red is clean.
oh, we kind of talked a little about this earlier, but I don't really want to get too into it because I see like the cancel factory part. But even tonight, man, we're seeing all the homies make their own toys, anyways, at this moment. And then like I even kind of loved how Kira's Customs post kind of goes hand in hand, where like in my opinion, this is kind of what it's all about. Achievement unlocked. This piece means a lot to me. To be able to sculpt a pretty damn good likeness of my favorite actor and produce a minifigure of one of his iconic characters is mind blowing to me, considering I had no concept of how to achieve this only a few years ago. I guess that's where for me, I'm like, isn't that kind of what we all love about these indie toys, anyways? Is that like our homies next door are pumping them out?
Yeah, exactly, man. That's Justin Kears from Kears Custom. He's such a good dude too. And he did that little demonstration for us when he was on the show with the perler beads in there and just kind of cranking those things out. And now he's exactly what he just said, man, making his own molds. Dude, look at that thing, dude. In his scale, if you have anything from him, that's about the scale right there. A little bit bigger. I think one piece that maybe is just a shade bigger than that, but not by much.
Well, so it's going to pull up their store as well because we're always talking about pieces under $30.
Yep.
Whole bunch in their store right now that are like 25, 20. These fucking Rage Robot Ninjas are fucking a nice little set, man.
Mm.
And they might be one of the, I think them and, is it Greasy Freaks? There's basically like only two people I can think of that do the injection
The
plastic.
injection, yeah, yeah. Hobo Toy said he's also doing a 2-inch in the Herman, so keep an eye out for that one as well.
Gracie Crepes. Yeah, we haven't talked about this account in a while, but they also do the injection molding, but instead of doing pellets like Kier's Customs does, they actually will use bottle tops and like old milk jugs and shit. So like a lot of the times they'll actually only do X amount a couple times a year, but you get some really fucking wild pours in their shop because they're still using the same injection machine Kyrus is using, but they're not using pellets. They're using random recycled plastics.
Nice. That just reminded me, dude. I'm gonna say 3 names right now. They were talking about English artists earlier, and there was 2 on there. I just glanced over at my wall. How about Flello Toys? Flello. Flello Toys. That's one. And then how about good old Mr. Spookfish? Remember Mr. Spookfish? Mr. Spookfish is also a street artist, from what I know, out in England somewhere. And he was making figures, and he had this really cool line of like divers and shit, and like this little pirate line was super cool. And his backers are the like original art backers, dude. They're sick. But those are 2 more English guys. Another person that I know of that was actually using milk jugs and milk caps. How about this one? And people will remember them if you've been to Assembly Required. Mountain Town Toys. Mountain Town Toys. I believe they're out of Georgia. They Athens, Georgia, maybe. That sounds familiar because they also do coffee. And I got coffee beans from them a couple years ago at the show. But I remember they had given me they had a gumball machine, I believe. And the guy had told me a story that his wife was making these toys out of recycled plastic. So yeah, it was something similar to that. But it was interesting, man. That was the first, and actually that was probably before I knew how Justin was making his. But yeah, I mean, anytime you can, repurpose something into a toy, that's great. There's not a lot of people doing that. Oh, Spookfish. There's Spookfish. Look at his art, dude. I love that shit. It's so good. One of the very first people I bought from. You're on mute. Oh.
I just said, really? I was just surprised. I didn't realize that this would have been probably one of like the earlier ones that you had grabbed from.
Yeah. I had that. Yeah, dude, that sticker. I have one of those stickers, and all his stickers were hand drawn. You know what I mean? It's not like he ordered a stickers. They were all hand-drawn stickers that he would send out, but they were super cool, man. He was a great dude. Him and his partner had a shop on Etsy where there was other, I want to say like maybe jewelry or something like that. Rika, yeah, there's a good one. Yeah, Fletch, we were talking about English artists. I'm sure there's a lot, dude. You know, but maybe what it is what Feral Foundry was saying is, you know, there's just not a lot of local shows dedicated to indie toys. And you know, it's, you know, I should ask my girlfriend actually. She lived in England for years, but cool. Right on, Mike. Take it easy, man.
The homies were.
I can't believe Abaddon won that fucking giveaway, bro. What happened there?
Okay, but straight up, is that a one? I'm glad that we actually comment on the post who everybody's number is, because nobody would have ever fucking believed me.
Right.
Two, I almost do wonder sometimes, like, we all joke about how technology listens in and hones our searches and stuff accordingly. That's one of those weird, like, Black Mirror conspiracy theory moments where you almost want to kind of be like, okay, did Google hear us say Abaddon 420 like moments before the giveaway and decided? Like, I don't understand the randomness of that. Number 6 gets picked. Number 6 is Abaddon 4. For fuck's sakes, man.
1 out of 27 chance.
I like how even you were just kind of like, no way. And like, you've never fact checked me on anything. And this was the thing tonight that you grabbed your phone being like, oh no, Crumbs must have misread it.
Dude, when I saw her in the comments say, I just bought that, my first inclination was April Fool's joke. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's not April Fool's Day. What the fuck? I'm like thinking to myself, is that real? And then I see the comments. I'm like, oh shit, she did buy it. Holy smokes, what are we gonna do here? And then she wins it anyways. What the hell's going on?
I'm also glad Jazz mentioned that because at the beginning of the show they were like, he's gonna see how many times he can mention that tonight, and then you're sitting there, oh yeah, this beautiful woman that I'm dating. She lived in England for a while as well.
I could mention her a lot more if I wanted to. She's a beautiful human being. She's not watching the show, I'm sure of that, but
well, you deserve that, my dude.
She supports the show, which is great.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's very kind of them.
Yeah.
All right, what do you say, dude? It's 11:02. Do we let these yahoos get on with their night?
Let's do it, man. We got next week. We have nothing on the schedule, so next week it may be just kind of a standard issue, good old toy hang. Talking about stuff, maybe surfing some. Maybe we'll get busy on the accounts, and
maybe I'll pop this box that you sent me.
Yeah, there we go, dude. We'll do that too. And then the next week, Robot Resurrection is gonna be dope. You have Robot Resurrection, I heard.
I think I'm gonna sign up for that. Yeah, I've been for some reason putting it off, but I've got. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a thing.
Awesome. Well, you got about less than 3 weeks.
April 21st. It's long enough.
Plenty of time.
Well,
that'll be exciting to see, man. Great show. Thanks again to Feral Foundry for being on. We will see y'all next week.